Welcome, focused learners, to this Masterclass Explainer. Today, we are absolutely unlocking the roadmap to leveraging Python. We're talking about arguably one of the world's most versatile, massively in-demand programming languages out there. And we're going to use it to build a profitable, fully remote freelancing career. Look, whether you're a university student, maybe you're switching careers, or you're just an aspiring software developer, this explainer is designed to show you exactly how to turn those coding skills into actual real-world income. Python literally powers everything right now. Web apps, AI, data analytics, finance, you name it. Because of this massive global demand, remote freelancing has become just an incredibly attractive career path. And the absolute best part? We're going to show you how to start right now, even if you still kind of consider yourself a beginner.
So the crucial point is, this is the core philosophy you absolutely must adopt if you want to be successful. As a freelancer, you aren't just selling your ability to write syntax, you're selling business solutions. Honestly, a client doesn't really care about the elegance of your code if it doesn't actually fix their bottleneck or automate their really tedious tasks or ultimately increase their sales. Our entire focus here is on providing tangible bottom-line business value.
So here is our roadmap for today's session. We're going to quickly cover the specific in-demand Python skills clients actually want, how to build a portfolio that wins, where to find and pitch those clients, how to price your services right so you aren't leaving money on the table, the soft skills you absolutely need, and finally, how to avoid common beginner traps and scale up. Even if you're literally starting from scratch today, you can follow these exact steps to build a really solid, long-term career.
Okay, let's dive into this first section and take a look at what freelance Python development actually entails on a day-to-day basis.
Before we even touch a line of code, let's quickly define the job itself. Freelancing simply means you're offering your services on a project or contract basis. You aren't a traditional 9-to-5 employee. You might be working with a really cool startup in Berlin one month and then a small mom-and-pop business in New York the next. It's like a giant puzzle with moving pieces, and it offers incredible remote flexibility while tapping into a huge global demand. But, it also requires a massive mindset shift. You literally have to treat your coding skills as a business. You're the boss, you choose the clients, you negotiate your rates, and the buck stops with you when it comes to delivering the final solution.
When you start treating your skills like a business, well, these are the services you'll actually offer. These are the high-demand Python skills clients are actively paying for right now. They need automation scripts because they want to stop doing soul-crushing manual data entry. They need web scraping to ethically keep an eye on competitor pricing. Maybe they need REST APIs to connect their software, or data analysis using pandas to finally make sense of their sales trends. AI, chatbots, Django web development, these solve real, immediate problems. Now listen closely. If you're a beginner, I repeat, do not try to master all of these at once. That's a recipe for burnout. Specialize in just one or two areas first. Become the absolute go-to person for, say, web scraping, and expand from there.
Right, so now that you know what to offer, how do you actually prove you can do the work? Let's talk about building a winning portfolio by learning through real projects.
Here's the thing. Clients value practical proof way more than certificates. A piece of paper just says you passed the test, but a working application, that proves you can deliver the goods. Your portfolio is, without a doubt, your most powerful marketing tool. So, here are some highly practical projects you can build right now. Imagine showing an inventory management system or a hospital management dashboard to a business owner. It immediately shows them that you understand operational needs. Things like a weather app, a web scraper, an AI chatbot, or a REST API demonstrate serious, high-level technical utility. And hey, you don't need 50 projects. That's overkill. Having just 5 high-quality, fully functioning projects in your portfolio is usually more than enough to win over a great client.
But building the project is really only half the battle, right? You have to document it properly. When you upload your work to GitHub, use this exact step-by-step checklist. First, explicitly state the business problem it solves. Second, list out the technologies you used. Third, add screenshots, or even better, a link to a live demo. Clients are incredibly visual, they want to see it working in real time. Fourth, provide the clean source code. And fifth, write a short, simple explanation of how your solution works. When a client lands on your repository, this specific structure allows them to instantly see your value without having to read a single line of your code.
With a polished portfolio in hand, it's time to get out there. Let's talk about where to find clients and how to secure that all-important repeat business. So where is the work? Honestly, it's everywhere, but you have to make yourself visible. Popular platforms like Upwork, Fiverr, Freelancer, and TopTal are fantastic starting points. But, and this is a big but, Do not depend on just one platform. You gotta spread your presence. Optimize your LinkedIn and GitHub profiles, spin up a simple personal website, walk into local businesses in your area. Seriously, see if they need inventory automation or just a better website. Leverage your professional network and social media. The wider you cast your net across all these channels, the more opportunities you're gonna catch.
When you do set up on these platforms, you're going to face a major challenge. How do you write a profile that actually stands out to clients when there are thousands of other developers out there? Well, a great profile has to clearly answer 3 fundamental questions. Who are you? What specific problems do you solve? And why should they hire you over the next person? You need a clean, professional photo, a snappy headline, and a bio that focuses entirely on the value you provide, rather than just reciting a boring list of every programming language you've ever touched.
And this brilliantly illustrates the difference between winning a job and just being completely ignored. Look at this comparison. When you pitch a client, a generic proposal just lists your technical skills, focuses entirely on you, uses a lazy copy-pasted template, and makes super vague promises. A winning proposal flips that entirely on its head. It explains the solution to their specific problem, it focuses on the client's goals, it addresses the client by their actual name, which proves you actually read their brief, and it demonstrates your relevant experience by pointing straight back to those portfolio projects we just talked about. A personalized, solution-oriented proposal builds immediate, undeniable trust.
Okay, once you've won their attention, the next big hurdle is money. Let's have a frank conversation about pricing your services right. As a beginner, I know it is incredibly tempting to underprice yourself just to get your foot in the door. But racing to the bottom on price? That is a huge mistake. When you compete purely on being the cheapest option, you inevitably attract the absolute most difficult clients. Instead, you must compete on value, quality, and reliability. Clients, especially business owners, will gladly pay a premium for a developer who communicates clearly, hits their deadlines, and writes high-quality code that doesn't just randomly break a week later. Let's move to and see how this builds your overall pricing strategy. Because it shouldn't remain static, it needs to evolve as you gain experience. You might start out with hourly pricing just to build some initial trust with a new client. But as you get better at estimating how long things actually take, you can move to fixed-price projects for clearly scoped out work. Later on, you can offer monthly retainers for ongoing code maintenance. And finally, the holy grail is value-based pricing, where you charge a percentage based on the return on investment or literally the amount of money your software saves the client.
But here's a hard truth we need to face. Out in the real world, being a technical coding genius is never enough on its own. You absolutely need freelancer soft skills.
Yeah, technical ability alone will not sustain a profitable career. You need these soft skills to survive. Clear communication is at the very top of the list. Honestly, if you can explain complex technical concepts in simple, plain language to a completely non-technical client, you will be hired again and again. You also need impeccable time management, strict adherence to meeting your deadlines, and a really high level of professionalism. Setting clear expectations early and providing regular progress updates, that builds incredibly strong client relationships.
And a major part of that professionalism is how you actually hand over the final product. So, here is your pre-delivery checklist. Before you send anything over to a client, test your code thoroughly. Squash those bugs. Ensure your code is clean and readable, just in case another developer needs to jump in and look at it later. Document your work properly, and always include step-by-step installation instructions if they need to run it on their own machines. Remember, every satisfied client is a potential referral for your next big job.
Now in our final section, we're taking the long-term view. We're going to prepare you for the actual realities of the freelance market by looking at how to avoid the common pitfalls and eventually scale your career. It's a tough market out there, and frankly, it's totally normal to feel a bit anxious when you're just starting out. So, what are the most common mistakes that actually cause beginner freelancers to fail and throw in the towel? The number one mistake: waiting until you feel perfect or ready to start applying. The truth is, you are never going to feel 100% ready. You just have to start before you feel perfect. Other fatal mistakes include skipping the portfolio building phase altogether, chronically underpricing your services, or, on the flip side, accepting projects that are wildly beyond your current abilities just to secure a gig. Also, poor communication and missing deadlines will ruin your reputation instantly. And as we mentioned earlier, depending on just a single platform is incredibly risky. What if their algorithm suddenly changes tomorrow? If you can dodge those pitfalls, here is what your long-term career trajectory can actually look like. Because freelancing is way more than just completing one-off gigs. In year 1, you're a solo freelancer, head down, building that portfolio. By year 2, you're securing recurring client relationships and establishing a really strong personal brand.
In year 3, maybe you niche down to become a highly paid AI consultant, or you start creating your own digital products. And by year 5 and beyond, you could easily transition from a solo freelancer into founding your very own software company, or leading a massive remote development team.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is it highlights a fundamental truth. The technology landscape never stops evolving, and neither should you. Your ultimate competitive advantage in this space is continuous learning. Once you master the basics of Python, keep pushing yourself. Learn web frameworks like Django and FastAPI. Learn containerization with Docker. Dive deep into cloud deployment, and absolutely, positively explore artificial intelligence and machine learning. Adapting to new tech is what keeps your services premium and highly sought after.
So successful freelancers are known for solving problems, delivering quality, and constantly adapting. But ask yourself this: in a world increasingly run by automation and AI, will you be the one replaced by the code, or will you be the one writing it? It's time to take control and take action. What is the very first Python project you plan to build to kickstart your portfolio? Or what freelance service do you want to offer? Drop it in the comments below. If you found this masterclass explainer valuable and want to take your skills to the absolute next level, please hit that like button, subscribe for more tutorials on Python, artificial intelligence, software engineering, and data analytics, and share this with other aspiring developers. The opportunity is out there for sure, now go build it.